I believe the term that would describe Aaron's photography from the surfing world, I'm going to check with Jimmy and Andrew to make sure this is correct, but it's epic. Would that be a good term? All right, I got it. I got the thumbs up from Andrew. I'm good. The epic images that he has developed and delivered to the world to really allow people to communicate the excitement and the passion of surfing. But he goes beyond that. He is a communicator of all things oceans, and he's a student and purveyor of descriptions of the water visually and verbally. And I would like you to please help me in welcoming Aaron Chang to the podium tonight as our guest speaker.
I don't know if I can live up to that introduction. Thank you for having me. It's kind of a miracle that I'm here for a multitude of reasons, but I'd like to tell you about just one of those reasons. When I was young, I moved myself to Hawaii when I was 17 to be a surfer. And when I hit Hawaii and discovered what real waves were, I was kind of at a loss, because real waves in Hawaii are nothing like real waves in California, where I grew up. Real waves in Hawaii command your attention. They hold your life in their hands, and you do not know what they will do. They're wild, they're uncontrollable, and you have to dance with them as best you can. So I've never really told anybody this story, but I was thinking about it yesterday. My deal was I wanted to be the supreme water photographer in the world. And that meant training furiously, swimming, bodyboarding, doing anything to get myself in shape, so that on those really big, big days when nobody would go in the water, that was my time at bat. One day at Waimea Bay, which is one of the premier big waves in the world, a friend of mine named Mark Fu called me up early and said, "This is it, we're going." So Mark was a heroic big wave surfer, and to ride waves this size, which Hawaiians call them 25 feet, but that means the faces are 50 feet high. That's a big wave. And Mark pulls out his 910 Rhino Chaser surfboard, and he looks at me, he goes, "Okay, let's go." I pull out my 28-inch duck feet fins, and I put my camera in the housing, and I go, "Okay, here we go." I don't know if you've ever stood on the beach when the surf is that big, but it's like Mack trucks coming at you. And that's just the shore break. You have to navigate these monstrous waves coming at you, time it just right, get far enough out past this massive, like class 5 rapid before the next one comes, or you're toast. So a lot of that is intuitive, and you really have to just kind of close your eyes and feel the rhythm of the surf. And that was something that I developed that I can't explain to you, but I could do that. I could say, "This is the time," and I'd start swimming. So this day I swim out there, and this was before surf forecasting was the fine art that it is today. It was like throwing dice back then. We knew it was big because the bay was easily 20 feet. When we got out there, it was incredible. The energy was just phenomenal. Big, giant waves were coming through. Mark caught one of the best waves I've ever seen him ride out there. And we had just the most epic time. And it was only the two of us. And I don't know that that happens anymore, because when you see pictures now, there's like 50,000 people doing it. But this was old guy days. And Mark and I were out there, and a huge set comes through. And when that happens, it breaks a half a mile out to sea. So where you're usually sitting in clear water waiting for the swells to come, now you're staring at a wall of whitewater that's 40 feet high. So that wave rolls over us. Mark's board is broken in half, and we're blasted, and we have to swim in. So we're at Waimea Bay. It's very tricky because the bay comes down like this, and it goes out. It's about a half mile. And you have to be able to hug the point to get up onto the sand, getting over these Mack truck waves just to get out of the water. Well, the first go, Mark made it and I didn't. So when you don't make it, what happens is you have to swim up the wave and you try to lock your feet before the outgoing rush of water drags you back out into the shore break. I couldn't lock my feet because I had my fins on. So I got swept back out. And then what happens is you get swept down the beach along a rocky coast with rocks that will kill you. So the option is, I'm going to swim a lap of the bay. It's only a mile. The surf is only 30 feet. So I'm swimming along outside this death zone, trying to get out past the other side of the bay. And then I'm doing just kind of meditative swim along the open ocean in 35-foot surf. And you think about a lot of things. I thought about, this is not good. You could be in serious trouble and nobody's coming to get you. So what do? I cried a little bit. I was swimming along crying like, oh my gosh, this is not good, not good, not good. And then along the way, I started to think, but this is what you want to do. This is what you train for. This is what you're here for. So let's swim harder. And the thing I learned on that lap around the bay, which took about an hour of constant swimming with giant chop, 6 feet high sometimes, was that when you really want to, you can tap into resources that you don't know you have. Resources that are so deep inside you, you never imagined you had them. And you can overcome situations that you just can't possibly believe that you can do. And I know that's true of every single person here. Every single person has that ability to dig deep inside themselves and pull themselves out of a situation. And when I was first introduced to this effort, that's kind of how I felt about it. I'm like, holy smokes, this is a group of people that's going to do something. And so for me to be able to be here tonight and to speak to you is really an honor. I was a kid that grew up in Imperial Beach, that rode my first wave in Pacific Beach by Crystal Pier on an air mattress that my parents rented for 50 cents for the day. But that first wave that I caught, the first tapping into the energy of the ocean, set my life's course. And I have been fortunate enough through my work to have seen, I think, 50 countries around the world with coastlines. My job was to go find exotic waves, which I thought was a good job. And I got to see a lot of different cultures and a lot of different places and a lot of different industries that all build themselves around the ocean. And that's our tribe. There are people everywhere that are tapped into the ocean, that live with the ocean and care for the ocean. And I'm one of them, as I'm sure everybody here is. So I wanted to show you my pictures, and I'll talk a little bit more after, but I think my pictures speak better than I do. So if you could run the slideshow. And if we can kill these house lights, especially these floodlights, it'd be great. Hope you enjoy this.
a ghost of a king on the road when I first fell. Fire burning to my knees I fell. Met a ghost of a king on the road. Words of fire. He said, you are a lonely soul with a heart of stone that rakes against your thirsty bones. Such a lonely soul. Said, I can show you what can save you, but we need to go where no chariot can take you, where the river meets the sand. There is water that can quench your thirsty bones and make you well, make you well. So I followed the ghost of a king with every step. I tried to see beyond for a trace of the riverside, but restlessness was my prize. And then we came upon a golden shore, but the voice of fire wasn't coming from a ghost no more. My heart of stone came alive when my eyes were opened up, and I saw that I had come where no chariot can take you, where the river meets the sand. There is water there that can quench your thirsty bones and make you well, make you well. So I knelt beside the river and I drank until I drank until I drank until I died. But something in the water must have brought me back. It brought me back. It brought me back to life. Where no chariot can take you, where the river meets the sand. There is water there that can quench your thirsty bones and make you well, well. Where no chariot can take you, where the river meets the sand. There is water there that can quench your thirsty bones and make you well, make you well.
That was exciting. When you make it, you just hope it's going to work, and I think it worked. So I want to take a moment in the spirit of generational hand-me-down and give credit. That last image and one other image was shot by my son Saxon, who's here tonight, who's 19. Can you stand up, Saxon? Saxon is an aspiring artist, and he has a unique way of looking at water. And in my professional assessment, he's so far ahead of where I was when I was 19. He's got an incredible future. I'm proud of you, Saxon. Anyway, back to work. The one thing that I get asked often, and I was asked again tonight, is what gets me excited? I discovered at an early age, actually in high school, that photography images can influence things. And by creating the work that I do, I have a multi-purpose behind what I do. But one is the actual gift of being alive is something that we should never, ever take for granted. I've been put down a few times. I've broken my neck. I've had every disease you can imagine. Every time I can get up another day, to me, is a true blessing. And I want to try and make that day important. And how can I make it important? We all have our ways. My particular way is to try and illuminate the beauty of life. What I showed you there is my way of seeing things, and hopefully that communicates to you, the viewer, or anybody that sees it, that life is a gift, and it's something we should never take for granted. And if you think that the most integral birthplace of life is the ocean, how can we not take care of it? Thank you very much.